Hey, Taylor Rapp here from the LA Rams. Shout out to Steve Taylor, the real sports guy, and the honorary Ram. When Steve's talk sports, you better listen. Thanks, Steve from the Rams, for your continued support and love. We are taking it all the way this year, but you already know that. Go Rams.
With Prince Bell, we rocking with Keeping It Real Sports, and we gonna be on this. We gonna be on a lot of times. I love the platform. Check in. It's the new wave. Like, follow, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Come on. I told you I got you. Wanna talk about his game, he can talk about it. Tennis, match, golf, he can talk about it. Don't matter what it is, he can talk about it. Any sport dude, he know about it. Save your boy bum, don't doubt it. If he tell you that it is what it is. The real sports guy in the Sandman. Talk show game in the bag, man. Rep, don't have to throw the flag, man. Steve Taylor, Andy Sands. It's over, OVA. Game over, they don't play. From the fourth quarter to the ninth inning. NASCAR wheels keep spinning. To the 18th hole, he's still in control. Guy on the go. Coach never missing the play, cause he know the deal. This keeping it real. Sports. Come on. Keeping it real. Yeah. Let's go.
Oh, welcome to the Keep It Real Sports Podcast. I'm your boy, the Real Sports Guy, Steve Taylor. He is the Sandman, Andy Sandlata. Hey, Andy, we got another big show for him. Man, we've got NFL, check. We've got NBA, check. We've got Major League Baseball. We've got a huge show for you. Man, I can't wait to get it going. Andy, you're going to have to sit it down at some point, man. Tell me what the heck is going on. What's happening over there, man? You tearing up the place?
I forgot to plug in the power, Steve. We almost lost power. So that was
good,
kind of important.
not good, man. Not good. Wake it up, man. We got so much going on. Hey, look.
Yeah, we got a big show today, for sure.
Big show, man. Let's see what's flying up. What they call hot off the press. Keeping it real.
All right, partner. Well, I mean, you got to start with the obvious, right? In World Series, it's been a crazy week in this series, as a matter of fact. We're going to go over all three games that happened over the course of this last week, and then we'll preview Game 6 tonight.
Okay,
well, let's start with Game 3, and the Bats woke up for the Phillies. This was the one thing that the Astros and their fans were deathly afraid of coming into this series, as well as having to go back to Philadelphia because they hadn't lost at that time at home, Steve. And I think the extra day off because of the rain delay is why this game transpired the way that it did.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point that you bring up, Andy, because what it enabled the Phillies to do was to take and rest their bullpen and push everything back a day to whereas you don't have the bullpen, you're going to have a bullpen game at some point in this series. We'll get into a little bit, but the Bats woke up. You see Bryce Harper, he came out. The big bats came up. Schwarber, another monstrous shot. The Phillies played long ball. They hit 5 of the dingers, man, and at the end, they lead the series 2-1, man.
Yeah, and at that time, and that's the first time, I should say, that's ever been done in a World Series game. 5 home runs in one game by one team. But that only lasted for one game because the reason you and I picked the Astros showed up the next 2 games. Let's start with Game 4 in the second no-hitter in World Series history. We did it as a team, Steve, but it was impressive nonetheless.
But, Javier comes in, man. He gives them 6 strong. And then they go to the bullpen, man. And this is a team that takes out a dude and bring in another dude that throws even harder and faster. Man, it is crazy, man. They combine for a no-hitter in the World Series. You got to name Don Larson and them 4 dudes. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most impressive things we've ever seen in our lifetime, for sure, as far as World Series goes. But then Game 5 was a little more interesting. Both teams were able to get the offenses going a little bit, but Steve Taylor, it finally happened. Justin Verlander found a way to win a game in a World Series.
Absolutely, he did. But he had help from that bullpen. Andy, I want you to listen to these numbers. They pitched 51 innings in playoff baseball. 51 innings. They are giving up 127 pitching average. That 127 batting average against these guys, man. It is hard to hit these guys, man. They are improbable. And I tell you, if they get another start again tonight, which I think they will, my goodness, it can be OVA.
I will say this. If Chas McCormick doesn't make that catch on the wall in right center, this game might have turned out a lot different than the way
that's why they give him a glove, Andy. They give him a glove so he can make that catch.
That's exactly. And the irony of that is he's from Philadelphia. Thought I'd throw that
Go
in.
figure.
So.
Go
All
figure. Hey, let's quick hit.
Quick hitters.
All right, partner, get us started this week.
Well, man, the trade alerts, man. I mean, the trade deadline, man. At the time, man, that this graphic was made, it was 8 record NFL trades. That's to be updated to 10 record trades, man, on the day. And the biggest winner of the day, it had to be Brad Chubb, man. Chubb going to the Dolphins, man. They definitely buyers. The Minnesota Vikings buyers. They get T.J. Hockenson. The Ravens, they're buyers. They get Roquan Smith. And the Bears, we don't know what the hell they're doing. Are they trading off their commodities, or are they shopping for commodities? We don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, the one that puzzled me was why did Chicago go after Chase Claypool? I don't understand that one at all. I mean, you're not going to make the playoffs.
Let me help you out with that one, because they understand now that Justin Fields can drive the ball down the field. He needs a target. If Darnell Mooney is your number one target, there's a problem. They had to go get him a target. This is looking at projecting in the next year. You got to get some kind of offensive continuity going, man. You know,
kind of interesting that
they need help, but I don't know what the hell Chicago's doing there.
Kind of interesting that Detroit traded within the division, right? I mean, you don't see that
because
a lot.
They knew they weren't going to pay the big bucks to Hockenson. They're not paying that dude. You know, he's out like a scout on the new route.
Hey, and listen, Steve, I've been with Minnesota since week 1, and we already had them in the playoffs as a wild card, but now it's looking like they're going to win the division.
Yeah, they're looking good. They're in good shape.
All right. Daniel Snyder finally has come to his senses and is willing to possibly, more than ever, sell his team. He met with Bank of America this week to find out the logistics of how that could possibly take place. It is valued now, Steve, at $5.6 billion. But you and I both know that there are people lined up to buy this franchise. Yeah,
namely Jay-Z. Jay-Z is teaming up with a billionaire, and they're looking like to be the prime number ones, and it would be perfect. You have Jay-Z, a part owner in Chocolate City. That makes sense.
Well, we'll see. He's got to be willing to sell it first. He's thinking about
that dude,
it. He hasn't said I'm going to sell it yet.
Trust me. He's got 31 reasons to sell.
Yeah, exactly. All right, boy, these guys just won't go away, will they?
No. Okay, see, say it out loud. Let's go hire Steve Nash, who's never coached a damn game in his life. Now, I'm not saying Steve Nash shouldn't have got a basketball coaching job. I'm saying he shouldn't have got that basketball coaching job. He has never. Have you ever seen Steve Nash play defense? Don't worry, I'll wait.
No.
That's what I thought. Okay, Now how the hell can you teach defense if you never played defense? Okay,
well,
that's the problem with these guys. These guys aren't locked in. It's your turn, my turn. It's been like that since day one when Kyrie Irving undermined the dude when he first got hired and said, look, we don't need coach. One night I'll coach. How about one night you coach, KD? It might be. Dude, stop.
Okay, so my
they have
question,
a players only meeting and they get rid of the dude.
My question to you is this the right guy?
Yeah. Who the hell else you gonna get? All
right. Well, and it just...
But see, the saga continues. It didn't end there, Andy.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, this guy.
Yep.
You know, for his stance and for him to promote an anti-Semitic film, regardless of him being an African American, knowing how this feels up close and personal, for you to put your foot down and not apologize until they start taking your money, okay? You trying to get the bag. Guess what? That bag is going away because guess who dropped their sponsorship this morning? Adidas. Yes. Like, dude, the shoe that was going to drop Tuesday, nah, not so fast, my friend.
Yeah.
We're done, and so are you.
I don't know what happened to Kyrie, Steve. He wasn't like that when we drafted him.
Yeah, he was. Y'all just didn't know it. Yes, he was. He's always been that guy. Oh, by the way, he was.
Oh, and
Oh, by the way.
all right, Steve. You know I'm all about rivalries in sports, right?
Right.
Especially the rivalry, which is coming up in a couple weeks. But to Michigan State, that is just as big, if not bigger, than our game, right? But this, to me, was taking it a little too far. 8 players get suspended for assaulting a Michigan player in the tunnel after the game. I just think that's taking things one step too far. I mean, I get the spirit of being in a heated rivalry. I get that that tunnel is a cluster, you know what, from day one since they built the stadium. But, Steve Taylor, you have to be an adult here and know your limits.
They beat the brakes off of him. Hey, Andy, oh, by the way, the very first college football poll came out, and we're going to give you ours here in a little bit, but this is how they have it, Andy. They got Tennessee number 1. They've got the Buckeyes number 2, Georgia number 3, and Clemson Tigers 4. Do you have problems with this real quick?
Oh, yes, I absolutely do, and you'll see why when we show you our bracket later
we'll
on.
get you the real. Keeping it real college poll here in a minute.
All right, let's get to some storylines, can we, please?
Yeah, I guess we could do it NFL variety, NFL storylines.
All right, partner, the game of the year, possibly last week, right? I mean, you and I were texting back and forth. Well, I had just gotten home because I was looking at a bunch of houses, and you told me, "Hey, I got Red Zone on. You got to check this game out." I didn't get to see it, but I got to hear about it, and we picked against each other in this game, so we both were with bated breath, waiting to see what happened. But I got lucky on this one, I will admit. Atlanta steals one, Steve. 37-34. We'll explain why here in a minute.
Wow. Well, it's a couple of reasons. One, because the damn field goal kicker can't kick. Let's start with that. But let's talk about this guy, DJ Moore. Because, see, before he made this catch right here, Andy, he dropped the 4th and 19 that would have given him an opportunity to score a touchdown early. So he went from GOAT to hero to GOAT again. Because what did he do, Andy? He scored the touchdown and he took off his helmet. It's an immediate 15-yard penalty. Now the field goal extra point is 15 yards back. And guess what happens?
You get the sticker for that one.
And yes, give him the damn sticker.
Yeah, I mean, that you know, and then he comes out and says, "Oh, I got to know better, and I should..." Yeah.
Stop that, man. You knew what you were doing.
Exactly.
I mean, his partner was running up to him like, no, and he took it off. No, because it's all about you in the moment. You in the moment. Don't be a bonehead.
This is the same guy that, you know, didn't want to see Baker Mayfield in the team meeting. So. All right, next game.
Speaking of boneheads. Yeah. And the bonehead I'm talking about is Raheem Morris and the Los Angeles Rams defensive coordinator, because he continues against San Francisco to sit back in too deep zone coverage where a high school quarterback can make reads. You're depending on a front four to get to the quarterback, which they made it life rough on him at times, but damn, can you at least close coverage? I mean, it's an easy fix the way I see it, do you need me to be the defensive coordinator? Because I can see it from where I'm sitting at. Raheem Morris, he's right there. Maybe he need to be where I'm sitting.
Well, I think you might have something to say about that and keep me to the buck in a little bit.
Just wait.
And you know what? I'm mad at myself, okay? Because I should have known better than to take your Rams in the regular season against the 49ers.
Yeah.
All right, last game we're going to highlight last week. The Saints make a statement at home. The defense showed. This is the defense, Steve, that we thought initially in our preseason rankings would push them into the playoffs. But they've been so inconsistent on both sides of the football. But when they put it all together like they did last week, this is what they're capable of doing.
And the Raiders are looking at possibly getting first-year head coach Josh McDaniels fired in this first season. Some dudes are just not head coaches. It's obvious he's not one of them, because he's not scheming it up. When Devontae Adams gets one catch for 3 yards, it's a damn problem, people.
Yep. And on top of that, I was surprised to hear Kamara's name thrown around in the trade rumors this week after that performance, weren't you? All right, let's make some picks. How'd we do last week?
Man, I had
a good week.
Yeah, I had a rough week all the way around. But see, I'm not listening to you this week.
Yeah. All right. Boy, another interesting pick here. You got the Colts coming off a bye week, or coming off a loss, I should say, and the Patriots coming off a win. Listen, if they're going to stick with Sam Ehlinger, this is the lock of the week for me. Give me New England at home.
Yeah, I got to take the Patriots, man. I'm rolling with Big Bill. Big time Bill.
All right. You talked about it a few minutes ago. Josh McDaniels doesn't know what he's doing in Las Vegas. But, Steve, Jacksonville doesn't know how to win close games. And until that changes, I can't make a pick for the Jaguars. I'm going to take the Raiders, even though they're coming off a shutout. Until Jacksonville can prove to me that they can close it out in the fourth quarter late in the game.
Yeah, part of me
whoever they're playing.
Part of me really likes the Jaguars, but not enough to pick over the Raiders. Give me the Raiders.
Yep. And then a big one in the AFC. Listen, the Titans are surprising a lot of people, including you and I. We didn't think they were going to be this good. We had them at 8-9. They've already won 5 games. They do have Kansas City's number in the regular season. But I feel like Kansas City finally has an offensive line that they haven't had in this matchup in the past. And Patrick Mahomes is at home against a weak secondary. To me, this is obviously, probably going to be a close game. But at home, Kansas City, at night, it's the NBC game. Give me the Chiefs.
Man, Mike Vrabel is one of them guys that I can take my guys and beat you, and I can take your guys and beat you. He's that good of a coach, people.
Yeah.
Believe me. I tell you, he has no reason to be 5-2 at this point with all of the talent that they've lost. Yet they keep doing it. Remember, it was just a year ago that they took apart Kansas City 27-3, and we thought it was all over for Kansas City. Yeah, but it won't be this week. Give me the Chiefs.
Oh boy, hey, listen, we were 3-0 last time we picked the same games in the NFL, so maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, that kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but hey, listen, you've been teasing this for a couple weeks now. Can we please?
Well, see, man, here's the thing.
Taylor has to say.
Well, see, when I keep it a buck, man, that means I just break down all of what I see, and from what I see and from what I hear. And I break it down and I keep it a buck. That means I keep it real. I keep it 100, people. This here is this week's Keep It a Buck. Check it out.
You can't handle the truth.
I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm a total truth. Sports teams, players, I'm going to keep it real. It's called Keep It a Buck.
Well, let's start with the Los Angeles Rams, the defending champions. What problem do I have with them? Well, let's start with this guy, the coach. Why? Because he can't figure out Francisco. 0-8 in the regular season against them. Season is his juvenile defensive coordinator. Close the coverage. It's real easy. You better figure it out before it's too late in LA. Let's look at the Cleveland Browns, who's always crying that this is dooming our franchise. It was the drive that doomed our franchise. It was the fumble that doomed our franchise. Now you want me to believe that it's a damn elf that's dooming a friend. Things were flying just great in Cleveland until you turned your back on your biggest star. You're winning championships. Your biggest star, Jim Brown. It's the curse of Jim Brown. And until you fix it, you're going to continue to dwell in turmoil. Fix it, Cleveland. Now let's look at the Michigan Wolverines, who's been pumping their chests because they have non-conference wins over Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn. Are you serious? And you finally beat Ohio first time in 10 years? Remember, a blindfolded kid can hit a piñata eventually. Last time we checked, when you're on a big stage, you're getting run over by the Georgia Bulldogs. And don't forget, there's a date with the Ohio State Buckeyes looming. And the last time you were there, remember this? I'm just saying, I'm keeping it a buck.
You got a point about the Jim Brown thing, but you and I both know it's also the ownership. And until that changes, they are not going to be a successful franchise.
It was the ownership that started it with Jim Brown.
I understand that.
It's some guys that you say, you know what? Take a week, take 2 weeks, take as long as you need. Okay? Yep. But until you fix that with Jim Brown, you're going to continue to wallow in turmoil. And I'm a firm believer in that.
It is the elf, too, by the way.
Damn that elf, man. Don't bring that elf. Damn that elf.
Hey, listen. We got some more changes in the poll this week.
Let's look at them.
You've heard the rest. Now here's the best. It's the Keeping It Real Sports College Football Poll.
Well, let's start at number 10, Andy. What you got?
UCLA, welcome back to the top 10. I mean, this team, only had one hiccup. It wasn't much of a hiccup either. I mean, losing to Utah is not that big of a deal, right? I mean, this is still a really good football team, Steve, and we're going to acknowledge that by putting them back in the top 10.
Yeah, but they got a big one today against Arizona State. Andy, they struggled against Arizona State. The number against Arizona State today is 11. My question is, can they win the game and cover? It's going to be a tough ass today, I tell you. You got eyes on you, UCLA.
At this point in the season, just win the game, right? Okay. You're not in the top four teams that have to impressively win. You just need to keep winning and let the chips fall there where they may, because this is the game that everybody's got their eye on at the end of the year and could ultimately determine the conference.
Absolutely. Well, you do got a meeting. USC got a meeting against Oregon later on.
Right.
So that is ahead. No, they've already had that. It's USC with Oregon. But I tell you, man, it's the Pac-12 is really heating up, man, and it's good to see the Pac-12, man, representing right now. We got them at 10 and 9, USC.
And we've got Oregon right there behind them at 8.
Well, I didn't want to kick ahead of time, but I knew that Oregon was coming. So your top 3 teams in your conference are 9, 10. 8, 9, and 10. I mean, it's a good showing for Pac-12.
Yeah. So the committee, Steve Taylor, has this team at 4. I don't think so.
No,
they're lucky to be at 7.
Exactly. And see, our reason for this, Andy, and we're explaining it to you, is because if you take any of those teams that's ahead of them, and you put them head-to-head against Clemson, Clemson would be an underdog, a decided underdog versus Alabama. They'll be an underdog versus Michigan. They'll be an underdog versus TCU. Thus, we have them rated number 7.
And they got a test today at Notre Dame. Keep an eye on
yes, they do. That's going to be a big-time game.
Keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
All right, this is the team that I think is getting the most disrespect in the top 10. You got to pay attention to these guys, Steve. This is a really good football team. Now, they could have a slip-up today because Texas Tech has a powerful offense, and if they overlook them, they may not be able to keep up with them on the scoreboard. But I don't see that happening. I think they're focused. I think they're out to prove that they belong in the college football playoff.
Andy, Max Duggan has that TCU Horned Frog offense humming right along. When they put up 41 against West Virginia, they've been averaging over 34 points in every contest this year. I don't see that not being a problem again today. I think they scored 34 plus again today. It's going to be if the defense is up to task. That's going to be the question today.
Yep, and that's why I said this could be a tough game against Texas Tech because they can put up some points. All right, we actually agree with the committee on where these guys stand right now. They haven't moved in 3 weeks because this is where they belong until the game at the end of the year when it's either put up or shut up.
Right. Well, Michigan fan is saying, well, we beat Penn State. Yeah. Well, Penn State, you're going to have to play them anyway. Your non-conference schedule, it has UConn and Hawaii, for crying out loud, man. When you go out and schedule somebody in your non-conference for, if you want to get real respect, well, you didn't know Ohio State. Ohio State scheduled Notre Dame, and they've got home and home coming up against Georgia. Go and schedule somebody, Michigan, if you want to really be considered one of the big boys. But we respect you enough to make you number 5.
And they beat a team in a rivalry game at home by 3 touchdowns.
They handled it.
They should have beaten by 5 touchdowns.
I get that. They handled their business.
I understand. That's why we got them at 5. This is the team that should be at 4.
Yeah, this is the team that we definitely think should be at number 4. They've got a big one against LSU today.
At night.
They are a heavy favorite today. They're at LSU. I'm going to tell you what, Andy. This here is the game to watch because Alabama is going to drop the house on LSU today. I promise you. LSU made it into the top 10. That is one of the biggest mistakes that I think the committee made this week. I don't think LSU deserves to be there, and Alabama will show you that today.
Okay, explain to me how a team with 2 losses is in the top 10. I'll wait. Because, that's my point. Okay. They've got them at 1. We've got them at 3. Tennessee, it's put up or shut up time for them, Steve, because I still think, and you agree with me on this, Georgia is Georgia, and they're going to show it today.
Well, you know what? The thing about Tennessee and Georgia, when I look at common opponents, that being Florida, Tennessee hung on to defeat Florida. Georgia put the pedal to the metal and put them away. And to me, that is what differentiates the 2 teams. Thus, we have Tennessee number 3.
Ohio State stays at number 2, an impressive win against Penn State. And Steve, this is why the Buckeyes are so dangerous, because they just kind of, went along throughout the game, allowed Penn State to hang in there. And to Penn State's credit, they did. But then when it came time to play football and make a statement, the defense, not the offense, the defense showed up and won the game for the Buckeyes.
And if you recall, Ohio State is down a spot from 1 last week because of the way that they came out of the gate. This is the reason that we dropped them down. The offense are going to have to figure some things out, and particularly in the run game. Quit trying to run at people, man. Quit get leverage and get to the outside. But the Buckeyes are very dangerous, man. They can put up punches and bunches, man. When they roll out of bed on Saturday morning, they're putting up 40. You better be ready, willing, and able to answer that 40 if you want to be.
This could be more like 70 today against Northwestern because that game is going to be ugly. But I will say this. As far as the running game goes, Maya Williams got hurt in that game. That would have made a big difference. And then number 1, Georgia. Tennessee at home today. Do they finally remind people the team that we see that they are and that they belong at the number 1 spot? Tennessee beat Alabama. It was an impressive win. But, Steve, this is the defending national champions, and I think they feel like they're being disrespected when the rankings came out this week.
Well, I tell you what, the one thing that gives me cause to pause about Georgia is Nolan Smith, their All-American linebacker, is out. He's done for the season. He's got a pec tear. He's done for the season. But, man, Georgia's got a lot of dogs everywhere, man. And I mean dogs. And when you really look at the overall, this is how we see it here at Keeping It Real Sports. We've got Georgia number 1. So if the playoffs would start today, Georgia and Alabama would do it. Ohio State and Tennessee, those would be 2 great games, man. I think that's a great matchup, but we're going to see some movement in this week because 1 plays 3.
Yep, exactly. And I think our next 2 out would be Michigan and TCU. I think we agree on that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, I think it's time to make some more picks here. Who you got?
Let's see. Who do you got?
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
All right, last week, yeah, it was rough for both of us.
Yeah, one good.
All right, but we can turn it around this week. All right, and let's start with the game we talked about earlier. This is going to be a test for Clemson. They got to go to South Bend at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's won, I believe, 5 in a row, right? Marcus Freeman has those boys playing good football.
Yeah.
And Clemson doesn't want to say they have quarterback controversy, Steve Taylor, but this could be a game that brings out that quarterback controversy. But it's only 4. I'm taking Clemson to cover on the road.
Man. The Irish have been good to me this year, man. And he's been good against the spread.
That's true.
I'm going to take him again against the spread. Give me the Irish.
Okay. All right. Kansas State walloped Oklahoma State last week. Yes, I called it. Thank you very much. They're at home again, Steve. They're tough to beat at home. Texas favored on the road, 1.5. I saw what the Wildcats did last week. I'm sticking with them. Give me Kansas State.
Yeah, they rode roughshod last week. That's not going to happen this week, man. Texas finally stands up. Give me the Longhorns.
All right. Even though they've only won 3 games in Manhattan, you're going to take them.
What did I just say?
That's fine.
But Texas lead the all-time series, 12-10.
True. We'll see. And then the game everybody's talking about, we had to put it in the picks this week, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's actually up to 8.5, but
It's up to 8.5. When we got it, it was at 6.5.
So when we got it, that's why it says 6.5. So for everybody out there that's freaking out about the spread, we know it's 8.5, folks. Okay, but when we got it, it's at 6.5. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna stand behind Georgia. I've been saying all along they're the best team in the country all year. They've got this at home. They only, look at that number, Steve Taylor. They only allow 11 points a game. They will find a way to sack Hendon Hooker at least twice today. And because of that, they're going to cover. Give me Georgia at home to cover the 6.5.
Ooh. You know, not so fast, my friend. I really like your noble pick. And I really like Georgia to win. But man, 6.5 is a lot of points, man. That's a lot. I'm gonna snag the points, man, and take Tennessee. I'm gonna take the points in Tennessee.
All right. Hey, Steve Taylor, we finally get to do this, which I've been clamoring for all season. But did you see that dude in scarlet and gray on the field last week?
I saw him, and so did Penn State. A lot. JT Tuimaleolo. 6 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 1 pass deflection that led to an interception, and a touchdown. He had a year's worth of work in a Saturday afternoon. Man, JT, give him that sticker.
And he did most of that in the 4th quarter when it mattered. That is why Ohio State is so dangerous.
Yeah, right, he was definitely that dude last week.
Before we go, I forgot to get this up there, so I want to circle back. World Series, Game 6, tonight. Astros lead 3-2. And should we remind everybody
it's a wrap.
What we said? Let's remind everybody.
It's OVA. I told you, man. I told you.
Okay. All right.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. So if you like baseball, people, make sure you tune in tonight because season is over. It's over. It's over.
Yeah. Framber Valdez Again? At home?
It's over. And Dusty Baker gets his championship. Lee Nissen. Lee! How you like that, Lee?
Hey, for the record, he had one as a player. This would be his first as a manager. That's what people are forgetting. But they want him to get it as a manager.
Yeah, but Lee Nissen is the reason that the Cincinnati Reds stink, because he got his way. Okay, so there you go, Lee. I'm talking to you. There you go. All right, guys. It's been fun, man. But we got to run, man.
Yeah.
Man, look here, man. Everybody checking in. What up, bro? My bro say, what's up? We got to show him some love.
Yeah.
But, hey, man, it's been fun, but we got to run, man. Until next week.
We wish you love.